How do you view negotiation? Because for most people, they see negotiation as some kind of battle, two parties fighting it out to get the best of each other. So it's hardly surprising that most people are wary of negotiating, and also that the thought of haggling leaves them cold. It's far better to think of the negotiation process as a way of achieving a deal and a lasting relationship. Because if you're in a position where you're negotiating and you can screw the other party down, really screw them down and get everything you want, and you think you've been pretty cool, you've been a really effective negotiator, that's not negotiating, that's bullying. And all I can say is the other party, when the power shifts, they'll remember, they'll never forgive you. If you do that, you'll break trust, and it is critical that both parties feel that they've won and the relationship is intact. That is of paramount importance. So to explain how to achieve this win-win situation and retaining relationship is beyond a video of this nature, it's too short. But what I can give you are some tips that will make you a better negotiator immediately. Now, the first thing I can say to you is copy the people who are brilliant at negotiating. And all I can say is some of the best negotiators on the planet are children. And the reason for that is very, very simple. One, they're very clear about what they want. They know exactly what they want to achieve. The second thing is they don't let a little thing like rejection put them off. They're persistent, they keep on going. If you say no, they'll come back again. They're also flexible, because if the first approach doesn't work, they'll try something else. They're superb at that. And if you have children, the next thing I'm about to say will really, really make sense. And that is, children are fantastic at knowing what your emotional hot buttons are, and boy, do they press them. So the tip there is to be persistent. Don't be put off by rejection. Just keep on going. Be as flexible as you can. And the other thing is know what the other party's hot buttons are. Not because I want you to manipulate them, but because the more knowledge you have of the other party, the more power you have in a negotiation. There are some very simple ways of finding out as much as you can about the other party before the negotiation takes place. Well, here, Google is your friend. If you Google people, you'll find out about them individually, and if not them, about the company. The other thing you can do is go to LinkedIn and look at their profile. But be warned, if you go to LinkedIn, they'll know you've looked at the profile and you might come across as a stalker. So there's two things you can do. You can either get a friend to go to and look at their profile and you can see the profile yourself through them, or, and it might be a little bit underhand, but I'd like to do it, and that is set up another profile so I can visit other people's profiles so I am not exposed as a stalker. The other one is Facebook, and Facebook, it is astonishing how much information people actually post online about themselves. Now in the UK, the head of the MI5, and the MI5 is a spy network in the UK, so you'd assume that they're pretty good on security. The head of the MI5 network, Sir Ian Sawyer, I think his name is, Sir Ian Sawyer, his wife posted on Facebook photographs of them on holiday, him and his budgie smugglers, the sort of drinks they like, who their friends were, where they like to go on holiday, even locations. Now that's truly bizarre if the head of the spy network allows information like that to be posted. So Facebook can be fantastic for getting information. The other most obvious thing to do is go to the company's website and go as deep as you can. If there are any speeches on there, or any white papers, or the news section, read through them all and get as broad a picture of the company as you possibly can. The other thing I like to do is when you read the copy, there'll be a tone of voice, words they use a lot. They might use the word, I don't know, vision, for example. So it's always good to use the word vision when you're talking to them, because as far as they're concerned, you're speaking their language. So that's a really good tip. Get to know as much information as you can, because information is power. That's before the negotiation. When you're actually in the room with the other party, the thing to do here is ask questions. Ask as many questions as you can and really, really listen. Because what I see people do, they'll ask a question and then they don't even listen to the answer. What they do is they're thinking of the next question and they're not concentrating on the answer. You must really, truly listen, active listening. Look for nuances, look for the way they react. Maybe there's a flush in the neck when you ask a question because they're feeling nervous. Maybe they start tugging at their ear or start fidgeting in some way. Really observe them, because the more information you have during the negotiation, the more power you have. Here's an impertinent question. Do you find neediness attractive? Because I don't. Neediness and people who look desperate are a real turn-off. I can't help thinking that they look pathetic. And that might be cruel, but when someone displays neediness in a negotiation, you think there must be something wrong. You know, if they're that desperate to get rid of this or sell it, there must be something wrong with it, and it puts us off. Or we think they're desperate to sell. And so what the unscrupulous do is screw them down and take them for everything. So if you show any neediness at all, you're weakening yourself in a negotiation. So the tip is, even if it's the most important negotiation of your life, if it could change your life and career, don't show any neediness because you will lose. So look cool, look as though it doesn't matter, look as though this kind of opportunity comes up all the time, and train yourself on that. And don't talk too much, because when you talk too much, when you're desperate, you give things away. So don't be needy. Please remember that. If nothing else on this video, eliminate neediness from negotiation. My final tip, and you might have heard this one before, but if you've heard it before and not acted on it, then you really should. It's very, very powerful. And it's this: if you don't ask, you don't get. So many people are nervous of asking for what they really want, but my advice is to ask for far more than you want, because you never know, you just might get it. So remember this: if you don't ask, you don't get. Thank you.